sometimes we see the lighting contractors come in and say everything's fine. Let us go put LEDs on. And they're not fine. They've got some, like you said, I think we find on average 6, 7, 8% of poles are ready to fall down, which is a pretty scary statistic,
scary,
right? You think about it.
Count the number of poles you drive by when you go home today and then add that 6
Yeah,
7%.
yeah, 6-7%. You're driving by several that are ready to fall down,
Absolutely.
Which is a scary proposition. And we all have kids and families. And probably everyone that works at EXO, we tell them don't park near light poles unless you see an EXO QR code on.
Yeah, that's it.
But one of the interesting things you see as well with a lot of lighting contractors, and you get it. I mean, they're trying to go sell their service, but they'll try to sell a client to do like a whole site sweep. So maybe give an example of that you've seen with some of our clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. We actually had one in particular in Florida, lighting vendor that had been working with this top 5 retailer, one of the largest in the world, and they had a location that they were actually going to be taking over and doing a building remodel. And the lighting vendor went out and said, hey, you've got 97 structures on the site. All of them need to be replaced. And when you're talking about cost, and costs you weren't assuming that were going to happen in your project, that's a high cost project to do 97 pole switch outs. And so we got a call from the vendor, and at the time we had already been working with them somewhat on a pilot program. So they called us and said, hey, can you guys go give us a second opinion? Can you go out to Florida? And we absolutely did. And we got out there, and only about 32 of them needed to be replaced. The other 60 or so were actually in really good shape. And it was the opposite. It was more of a cash grab, in my opinion, of we're going to be the ones doing the pole replacements, the vendor. And so they wanted all of them, right? And at that point, we realized very quickly, like, hey, we bring a value to the table that not only is the correct engineering look on it, but it's also an integrity piece of it, right? Where you don't just go tell them things are at risk when they're not. And we were able to show that to that very large retailer, very clear that what you got from your vendor is not accurate, and what we're giving you, and here's the reasons why, right? And to your point earlier, the data does tell the story, right? And right now, a lot of these vendors and retailers are using reactionary situations to drive program needs rather than letting the data tell the story of what you should be doing.
That's right.
And I think that is where the data we have truly tells a story on where you are, where you're at today, and where we need to get you.